What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Backstage Slam Wrestling Podcast. This is episode number 208. I guess you could say part 1 or part 2, depending on which episode gets uploaded first. Again, this is a 2-part episode. I will be recording my own side due to the fact that I will not be able to podcast with Josh and the gang this weekend. As you guys know, the past couple of weeks, I have had family emergencies that's still taking a lot of my time these days. So, with that said, my name is Ben, and it's really great to be back on the podcast talking about pro wrestling. We got the WrestleMania of AEW All Out coming up in just 3 days. So I can't wait for that. And I am going to be giving you guys my breakdown and predictions for these matches. I haven't had a lot of time to catch up on pro wrestling. The only thing that I've watched was New Japan and AEW. I did not see anything WWE, main roster, or NXT in the last 2.5 weeks. I will eventually be catching up with that. I am still on a boycott of watching WWE main roster stuff. So I'll mostly be watching the full shows for the last 2 to 3 weeks of NXT. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Josh and whoever's going to be joining him, I don't know if they're going to be doing a show tomorrow night on Friday after Josh's Wadcast is over, or if they're going to record it super early on Saturday. That remains to be seen, but I am unable to hook up with them this weekend. Absolutely unable to make it. So, since I haven't been on the podcast for a couple of weeks, I decided to actually take the 30-minute window that I have right now, since I just woke up, and actually record this podcast. So, with that said, let's talk about AEW All Out. Yesterday was AEW Dynamite, unopposed, no NXT, and I woke up and saw that the ratings came out. So NXT on Tuesday, 2 days ago, garnered almost 850,000 on a special Tuesday episode of Dynamite. Yesterday, AEW pulled 928,000, almost 1 million, which is amazing. So both shows did great. Both shows went up. The demographic for AEW, especially the 18 to 35, went up big time. And I believe the show was top 5 overall for AEW on cable network last night, which is awesome. They usually been ranking in the top 10, but I think this week they got top 5. So considering that, you know, there's NBA playoffs and other stuff going on politically, that to have almost 1 million people be watching pro wrestling, I mean, let's be real. I think the numbers would be shorter had this not been a go-home show week, had there not been a pay-per-view this Saturday, but, you know, we'll never know. All I know is All Out is going to be awesome. Let's start with the pre-show, or should I say I'm not going to say the kickoff show, the buy-in. We have Britt Baker versus Big Swole, and this is going to be a tooth and nail match stipulation. I don't know what to expect with this match. I do think Britt Baker is going to win this match. I have read online that the reason that this match is getting the buy-in kickoff show treatment is because this match is partly or totally 100% cinematically shot. And if it does, then it makes perfect sense to put this match on the kickoff show because let me open up my Discord. Okay, so this is the schedule for AEW programming. Tomorrow, on Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have a AEW Dark special. So it's a special episode of AEW Dark tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the AEW YouTube channel. Then on Saturday, on pay-per-view day, at 5 p.m. Eastern, we have AEW Presents All Out Red Carpet Part 1 at 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Then, 30 minutes after that, there's a Countdown to AEW All Out special at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on TNT, on network television. That's 30 minutes as well. Then at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're back on the AEW YouTube channel for All Out Red Carpet Special Part 2. And Part 2, Part 1 for the Red Carpet stream is half an hour. Part 2 is 1 hour from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then we have All Out The Buy-In at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that's going to be on pay-per-view and Fight TV. And then the pay-per-view main card will start at 8 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view/BR Live, Bleacher Report Live. So there's a lot going on for AEW, and the reason why they're pushing so much for this more than any other is because All Out, Tony Khan, for all intents and purposes, says this is AEW's WrestleMania. This is their biggest event of the year. I think this card was supposed to take place in Chicago, but it's going to be at Daly's Place. I think there's going to be like a 10 to 15% seating capacity. They're going to have fans in. So I can't wait to see what the set looks like. Hopefully next year's Double or Nothing or All Out will be at the Jaguar Stadium. Crossing fingers? Who knows? Alright, let's get it on. Okay, so we got Britt Baker getting the win on Big Swole. Next, we got a Broken Rules match. The stipulation is if Matt Hardy loses, he must leave AEW. So we got Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. I got Matt Hardy staying on. I got Matt Hardy winning. Next, we got a tag team match between Jurassic Express, that's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They will be taking on the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. If you guys watched AEW Dynamite last night, the Young Bucks, they looked a little bit more heelish, even though, they're still technically good guys, but they look like they got an edge to them, like a chip on their shoulder. They could have been facing their other fellow Elite members for the titles. But instead, they didn't make it because Hangman prevented them from winning. So the Young Bucks got a chip on their shoulders. And it kind of looks like the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, all three of them got a chip on their shoulder. All members of the Elite got a chip on their shoulder. So that's why the situation and the storyline with the Elite is going to be a sight to behold. I am very anxious to see how the Elite is going to change between now and at Saturday night. So I got the Young Bucks going over Jurassic Express. Coming up next is a Dark Horse match of the night. It's an 8-man tag team match between Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, the Natural Nightmares, who are Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. They'll be taking on the 4 members of the Dark Order, the new TNT champion Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. Now, here's an interesting stat fact. Joshua loves pro wrestling stat facts. Evil Uno has not lost a pay-per-view match. Evil Uno of the Dark Order has not lost a pay-per-view match. So that's an interesting one. And that is why I think that streak will continue. I believe the Dark Order will take the victory for this one. Coming up next is a 21-man casino battle royale. The winner will receive a future AEW World Championship match. We have 16 or 17 confirmed competitors, with the remaining 5 or 6 to be determined. The competitors that are already officially in is Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Pentagon Jr., Ray Fenix, The Butcher, The Blade, Eddie Kingston, Shawn Spears, Billy and Austin Gunn, Jake Hager, Santana and Ortiz, Chuck Taylor, and Trent Beretta. And the remaining 5 or 6 people is still undetermined. So hopefully we get some surprise entrances. I've been leaning towards Darby Allin, but he already got his shot at the world title. So I'm gonna have to go with another. I don't know. I it's very interesting. Very interesting. You know what? I'm gonna go Darby Allin. The reason why I'm gonna pick a babyface winning is because I do believe MJF is going to beat Jon Moxley and become our 3rd ever AEW World Champion, brand new champion. Darby Allin being the babyface to MJF's heel world champion. I think that's something to look forward to. It wouldn't make sense if we have a heel go up against MJF. So I'm going to pick Darby Allin, just off of that logic. Alright, coming up next, it is singles match for the AEW Women's Championship. We got NWA Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa taking on Hikaru Shida. And I got Shida retaining her championship. But I think this might be a match of the night candidate. I believe it'll be the 2nd best match of the night. But I do see Shida retaining, and I hope Thunder Rosa continues to show up in AEW. In fact, I hope AEW and NWA have some sort of loose working relationship. And if that's the case, we need to get Nick Aldis on AEW television pronto. That's just my opinion. Coming up next is the match that I am looking forward to the most, and it is for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Elite, or should I just say Kenny Omega with Adam Hangman Page versus FTR with, of course, Tully Blanchard. And I got FTR winning. FTR will be the new champion. However, I do believe it's Kenny that turns on Adam Page. Kenny goes crazy, turns on Adam Page. FTR picks up the win. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks all turn heel and turn on Adam Page and give Adam Page a big beatdown. And Adam Page goes missing from television for about a month to sell that beatdown. And we get the old Bullet Club, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Attitude-wise, of course. So that's how I see things going down. After FTR wins, we might see Shawn Spears go up to them, and we might see 3 of the 4 Horsemen, or maybe even Kenny. Kenny joins FTR and Shawn Spears. Who knows? This, like I said, this storyline is the top storyline for me personally in AEW. So, FTR, new champions. Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy in the first ever Mimosa Mayhem match. The match can only be won by pinfall or submission or throwing the opponent into a tank of mimosa. So I do have Chris Jericho winning this match. I think Chris Jericho wins this match via submission. I think he taps Orange Cassidy out after a whole bunch of shenanigans. However, at the very end, I do believe Orange Cassidy stands tall, and we see We see best friends come to the rescue, and whoever's left standing from the Casino Battle Royal from the Inner Circle side. We see the Inner Circle get beaten down, and we see the best friends with Orange Cassidy toss Chris Jericho into the tank of Mimosa at the end of it. So I got Chris Jericho winning, but Jericho gets thrown into the Mimosa regardless. And finally, Jon Moxley versus MJF. Singles match for the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley's banned from using the Paradigm Shift, but that's okay. Jon Moxley also has the Gotch Pile Driver as an alternate finishing move, and he also has the Rear Naked Chokehold. This might be the match that has a great 2/3 or 70%, and then we see the third act of this match just be kind of overproduced, a little bit like WWE. Too much shenanigans on hand, but I do see MJF as the new champion. And that's my picks for AEW All Out. Please stay tuned for Josh and the gang. They will be uploading their picks sometime either tomorrow or Saturday. Again, I got Britt Baker, I got Matt Hardy, I got the Young Bucks, I got the Dark Order, Darby Allin, Hikaru Shida, FTR, Chris Jericho, and MJF, all winning at All Out. My name is Ben, and hopefully I will return back to our normally scheduled podcast content next Saturday for episode 209. Again, this is episode 208, part 1, or part 2, or side A or side B, depending on which part gets uploaded first. And yeah, so I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Thursday, and go AEW. Peace out, guys.